When we take a look at our lives at the present, we see it for exactly what it is, the present. We do not see more than that. We can try to plan ahead or predict what might happen next, but all of that do not prepare us for the unexpected things that happen, and often threatening to deter us from our goals, from our dreams, and even our ambitions. For example, take a look back to a couple of decades ago when you wanted more than anything to work in a particular line of profession. You spoke probably enthusiastically about the profession then, but now you're most likely doing something completely different from all that you dreamed of as a child. Unexpected events happened that worked to change our orientation of life and how that we perceived ourselves and our purpose for existence. My point is, life is a place riddled with so many unexpected events. The twists and turns that life presents itself with beautify our world. Now, this world would probably be a very boring place to live in if everything about our lives went exactly as planned. There would be no room for growth, nothing to challenge us to surpass our limits and to strive to be better people, nothing to test us and reveal our strengths and weakness while demanding us to improve on ourselves. These are the things that challenges do to us. The tests that we are forced to write in school push us to constantly surpass our limits to learn a lot of information in a noticeably short time. As much as these unexpected things happen, they're not all bad. The truth is, they have their place in helping us discover who we are. They have a place in helping us discover what we're made of and what potential resides on our inside. Allow this understanding to teach you how to embrace life and all that it offers. Let it mentally prepare you for the unexpected. Life is too big for us to love short-sightedly. The truth is, we do not see everything at once. That's God's job, not ours. He sits at the table and he sees how everything will play out. He sees the consequences of every possible decision that you could make. He works tirelessly to salvage your mistakes and to always provide a way of escape for you while he slowly guides you to your place of destiny. Isn't that beautiful? But again, be reminded that this is God's job and not yours. Many times, we fall for the trap of trying to ensure that everything goes according to plan. And as human beings, we love the sense of control that brings us. The ability to predict the next move and to know how to avoid pitfalls. This is the whole essence behind man's passionate pursuit of knowledge or in education. To avoid the pitfalls of all that is good, really. God put that desire in us, but he put it in us for a reason. When we realize that he's the one who sees all and plans all, we will allow that desire to be in control to push us to submit to God's control, to be passionate, to ensure that only his will is done in our lives. And this is an attitude for successful living. First, you need to realize that the unexpected will always happen. No plan except God's is soundproof. Now, this provides safety and peace for your own heart. Acknowledge that you do not know all things and that you're not wise in your own eyes. Honor God, and his ability to steer you to the place of destiny and glory will be evident in your life. When we do this, we are not shocked by the unexpected, the storms in the sea, and so on. Instead, we rest in God. But I will not lie to you, some things are tough. Some situations are nerve-breaking. They're pushing us to the very edge of doubt, regret, or even cursing. Job knew exactly what it felt like to face a situation that seems to only get worse. But like Job, we must realize that there is more that God wants to do with us. Growing up, I had a feeling deep in my heart, a feeling that I cannot die young. When other kids were scared of stuff like crossing the road or riding a bike, I expressed a sense of adventure rather than a sense of fear. I knew deep within that I could not die so early. Looking back now, I realized that it was because I knew God had a destiny for me, and it did not make sense if I died before I fulfilled that destiny on earth. Truthfully, that sometimes drove me to rather careless decisions, but however, it protected me more. It allowed me the space to explore myself. I just knew that God could not have sent me to the earth to fulfill something and then take it away from me in death. God sounded wiser than that to me. Looking back, I also realized that it's because I grew up in an environment where I was constantly reminded that God has a plan for my life. Almost every day, it littered the conversations I heard. God has a plan for your life, and he's just getting warmed up to take you through it. The storms will come and rage. Events will present themselves with impossibilities. You might cry and feel emotionally hurt, or even go through physical pain. But none of those things, not even your most recent flaw or challenge, would change God's plan for your life. He knew the things that you could do before he planned your life. He knew what the devil could throw at you too before he wrote out the course of your life on his hand. He made sure that nothing would be strong enough for him to change the plan for your life. Even if you're aged, remember that he called Abraham at 75. Even if you've been reckless, he called Samson either way. Even if situations and circumstances have hurt you so much that your personality and orientation of life, or even your faith in God, has been changed significantly, remember that he called Gideon either way. At the end of the day, the storm, that is what you're facing right now, will only prove to reveal God's power rather than stop it. It only proved that even the storm is no match for Jesus, and that crossing that Sea of Galilee is possible with God on the boat. Crossing the sea of seasons and processes is possible with God on our side. Events will suddenly twist and present itself with fearful realities, but still, the future holds better. Allow the season you're in to prove God's power in your life. Let it stir up God's gift within you and even build you with the right character set for the place that God is taking you to. Do not allow it to build a grudge or anger or bitterness. Instead, allow your trust in God to increase in these times, knowing that He is for you and not against you. This season is not strong enough to take you down. You're only going to get stronger and better and more focused. The storm Jesus faced only proved that the victory He has covered everything, even the storms. So what you're going through is merely a mere reflection of how great things are going to get. God has something wonderful planned for you. The Bible constantly reveals how God cares for and watches over us. He's setting our lives. We're safe within His arms. This surety protects our hearts from the evil influences of negative experiences that we have. They fill us with confidence about God's heart towards us and love for us. You see, God is greater than your current situation, and since He oversees your life, He is responsible for ensuring that you reach your destiny. Whatever you seem to be going through now is nothing compared to what He can and will reveal within you and through you. I know the battle is raging. I know that things might be difficult, but let God's nature remind you that the future is better. Take a pause. Remember, like David advocates, all the things that God has told you about your life, all of His divine promises concerning you, and then you will realize that God's promises are so great, there's something that sounds like a child's imagination. But that's who God is. He specializes in ensuring that big things happen to His children. Look at David, for example. He received a message from Prophet Samuel that he would be the king of Israel one day. As at then, one could imagine that short, rowdy, outspoken David laughing in his heart. But trial after trial, the neglect of family, rather than pulling him down, caused him to grow more deeply acquainted with God, recognizing Him as shepherd. So allow God's goodness to remind you of greater things. It does not end here. What lies ahead is truly greater. God bless you.